I just can't take no pleasure in killing. Well, there's just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like it.
Welcome to the Horrible Film School. Grab your seats. Rip open those trapper keepers. I am Chris. Here with the lovely Ryan Hootie.
What's up, fellas? Excited today to talk about, sadly, a blind spot for me.
And we got the king, Mr. Nasty, my brother from the same mother, Joey.
This heat is driving me crazy. I don't know if I can take much more of this. Fuck this North Carolina heat and fuck you, Franklin. Episode 30, boys. We did it. Dirty 30.
Fuck yeah. Franklin's going in the Hall of Fame. Spoiler alert.
I am sad to say, Joe, that I did kind of envision you in the Franklin character in this movie.
How is that?
I don't know. You just...
Elaborate.
Back in the day, you had the curly hair, and it was... Obviously, you're not in a wheelchair, so that was really...
When I had hair, you was 12 years old, Hootie.
Yeah, but I saw
What the fuck
pictures,
are you talking
all
about?
right? I was looking at your fucking old ass when I was in fucking kindergarten.
Today's assignment, 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The lesson. It's a short one this time. Eat more salad. All right, boys, me in the hot seat here. We're going to go back to the 70s for what most people consider the godfather of slasher films and pretty much modern horror as we know it. I know, Hootie, this was a blind spot for you.
Yes.
Feel good to pop that. I could see the cherry running down your microphone as we speak.
It's definitely
Joseph,
there.
when's the last time you saw this?
Shit, 8, 9, 10 years ago?
Shit, you should be more fresh than I was.
Yeah, it's been a while. I feel like this is the type of horror movie you see like every 10 years in your life. I think we saw it first when I was like 7 or 8, and I didn't really care for it because I was really expecting like, you know, Friday the 13th style shit, like formulaic horror. Like you got the bad guy who's stalking all the would-be victims, and this is definitely not that type of film.
Yeah, it's definitely more straightforward, like documentary style, which I think was the intent based on the way it was shot.
So how did you feel about, not to spoil your review or your final thoughts, Hootie, but after you saw the trailer for the first time, in reference to the podcast, what did you expect? What did the film, did it satiate your expectations?
So I will start before answering that question, because I have a very good answer to the question. I started with this franchise when I was about the same age you were referencing, except I watched The Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
Oh, the fucked up leg thing. That was an HBO thing, wasn't it? It was on HBO all the time.
That's probably why I saw it. So that's how I got introduced.
He had to order that fucking leg with that damn canteen. Like
Yeah, it would it'd go off on its own.
It's like hydraulically powered.
That's how I got introduced. And then it only got worse from there because I went forward, not backward. So...
no point in turning this ship around. We're going into those waters.
After this one, they're all just pretty much cut and dry horror films. I mean, they're kind of formulaic. They're pretty standard.
You gonna say trash? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I like the second one.
Okay, just checking.
My brother also likes the second one as well. He loves it.
The
But
second one's got the best character in the entire series.
This movie shocked me, and I was very unsettled. I won't say my entire review, but this movie made me very unsettled, and it was very effective.
Watching the trailer is almost like watching these information documentaries about like how chicken nuggets are made.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, like the big pink paste and all that shit.
Yeah, we like the feeling it gives you. You know, it makes you like sick to your stomach.
Yeah, like what have I been?
I'm still eating fucking chicken nuggets. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna shove them in my mouth by the fistful, but it's still like
pink paste.
It puts that feeling in your gut like this is wrong. You know.
You know what's weird? I have a visceral memory of watching Mask. Not The Mask, but Mask.
How many times do we have to reference
Eric Stoltz? Why is this still being talked about?
As a child and eating graham crackers dipped in milk.
You're gonna make me sick, man.
And it made my stomach like sour. I don't know what it was. If I was just like disturbed by what I was watching. Weird fucking thing. Like for a while I couldn't eat those two things together.
His face looks like a chicken nugget.
Who dips?
Now that I think about it, you know
The
the
graham
boot
crackers
shaped
in
chicken
milk.
nugget.
You've never done that?
I have no done in my damn life.
You missing
Oh,
out.
listen to this fucking life hack. Back when I was a kid, they would have to take the Oreos and like hide them because what I would do, I would take an Oreo sleeve and I would break them all up and just throw them
Drop
in,
'em in the milk.
A glass of milk, and I would
The
drink
whole
my milk.
sleeve.
And I would drink my milk, and at the bottom of the milk, I would take a spoon, and I would eat it like a fucking Oreo paste.
God damn, that's
To
like
bring a paste
3,000
with it.
calories.
It was a poor man's McFlurry,
a
man.
growing boy needs sustenance.
Growing boy needs cookies.
Mama Gunner, where the fuck is all the damn Oreos? I'd be sitting there with damn Oreos in my teeth. I don't know.
All right, moving on. So before we get into the meat and taters here, let's go ahead and set the table with some fan reviews, courtesy of the illustrious IMDb. We're going to start with the negative, because I love to get a negative Nancy off the table as soon as possible. This fan review comes from B.M. Cohen, January 2020. The name of this review is ZZZZZZZ.
Like sleep.
The sleeping sound, I guess. Which I never did quite understand. How the fuck does that constitute sleep? Anyway.
Like that.
Here we go. 90 minutes of screaming, grunting, and chainsaw noise. Don't waste your time. 1 out of 10.
That's it?
That's it. Your cat has a point. It is 90 minutes. It's not even 90 minutes.
It is a lot of grunting and screaming.
And chainsaw noises.
I have to say, damn it. He's not far off.
Positive review by way of Full Thunder Moon from November 2021 to what they call chillingly unforgettable. Ask a psychopath to write an episode for Scooby-Doo, and this is what you'll get. Not flawless, but definitely a 10. When I first saw this cult classic, I was glued to the screen. Wow. 10 out of 10.
I can kind of see the horror version of the Scooby-Doo.
The gang? You got the whole
trope.
gang there. Franklin is Scooby.
But it's almost like it's like Scooby-Doo, but every character is like a faceless entity. Because this cast of characters is on the forgettable side.
Yeah.
So you're the host, Chris. I didn't look up any of these actors.
Well, I will say I am the host. I looked up these actors, and I don't have any notes about any of these actors.
I got.
And I tried.
Notes on a couple of them.
I clicked through each filmography and hit the back button after about 10 seconds.
I'm sure they're on the horror con circuit out there in the convention world getting those paychecks.
Good for them.
I think
Good
most
for
of them are dead.
Well, Franklin's definitely dead.
What the hell does that
Franklin's
mean?
alive.
He was stuck on a damn chili dog way too hard. He's had way too many chili dogs.
All right, so behind the scenes, let's take a look at who and how this film was made. This film co-written, and directed by Toby Hooper, who would go on to direct Poltergeist,
They're here.
a couple episodes of Freddy's Nightmare, and Tales from the Crypt. But not much more than that, surprisingly.
What happened to this dude?
I think he really just rode this idea into everlasting paychecks.
Did you say he wrote or he directed Texas Chainsaw 2?
I did not mention that.
As well as a little film called Life Force from 1985. It's about alien vampires in London. With a little-known actor you guys might have heard of, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Jean-Luc Picard.
That's Ian McKellen's boyfriend.
Was that before he got sired? Sired?
It was 85. That was
Apologies
like
to
40
any
years
British
ago.
listening folks. We just don't know how it works.
Shout out to our German listeners, by the way.
The Queen pulls up her dress.
Fuck
and,
yeah,
like,
keep
queefs in your
rocking in
face.
Germany. Say it again.
The Queen pulls up her dress and queefs in your face. That's how you're knighted.
That definitely sounds like the American
she hit you with
version
that
of
fucking
that.
dust
And this
devil
is
right in
the
the
show.
face. Bah!
And this is the show. We made it this far. And now we're here.
As Donald Glover said, this is America.
But the Poltergeist was a whole other franchise.
Yeah, I think Spielberg might have just liked the fact that they came up as independent directors together and just threw him a bone because that was one of Spielberg's big projects that he wasn't going to put his own name on because it's not really part of his brand, you know. Not a horror movie guy.
What denotes a franchise? Because isn't like Poltergeist only 2 movies?
Maybe 3. I'm sure it got a reboot that we all forgot about too.
Oh, definitely.
I didn't know Poltergeist 2 was a fucking thing.
But yeah, the only other behind the camera person I have of note was the co-writer, which was a fella by the name of Kim Hinkle. And this is really all he wrote, but he gets kind of story credit here too. So he helped launch a successful franchise. So I thought that was worth some note. But past that, no one behind the camera really garnered much research from myself.
So Toby and Mr. Hickle still get checks from all the remakes of this.
I think they still get based on characters created by credits for everything. So that's some kind of WGA writing kickback they get anyway.
That's why Toby stopped directing. If I
Toby.
can write his thing out.
A couple other notes here. This was inspired by Ed Gein, who was also the muse for Psycho and Silence of the Lambs. Considered a legendary American serial killer that the three of us know pretty well just from endeavors into fantastical podcasts that don't need my recommendation.
Yeah, they get enough credit as it is.
Exactly.
But the whole Ed Gein being a serial killer is like one of the most debated topics in true crime.
Was he got one confirmed killed?
2.
2.
There's certain people of a camp that 2 at separate intervals makes you a serial killer. Some people say 3. But yeah, Ed Gein is definitely a if you had a Mount Rushmore, I guess, of serial killers and interesting true crime figures, he's probably going to be up there.
If you really go into the story of Ed Gein, because I re-listened to the episodes that y'all referencing here, it's really a sad story. You kind of feel bad for the guy.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't want to spoil our review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but if you really get into the backstory of Leatherface and his mannerisms and how he acts, he's kind of sympathetic as well.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's a sympathetic figure.
At least here he is. I don't know how that constitutes the rest of the franchise, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just...
there's definitely a human aspect here that I didn't expect to find. But yeah, Ed Gein, I feel like him and Dahmer are like the two, like, just fucking sad ones. Just two terribly lonely, depressed people that...
Well, hey, if you really get into it, I mean, the way a lot of these guys were raised was pretty fucking sad.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't stand a chance.
Nobody blame the parents. No, sir. No. Too far.
Spare the rod, baby. During development, Hooper used the working titles of Leatherface and Head Cheese. Head Cheese.
Not too far off from Pumpkinhead.
God, you
Jesus
goddamn
fucking
right.
We stopped mentioning Congo, and now it's like we can't stop
Congo.
mentioning Pumpkinhead.
I can't wait for my next pick. Pumpkinhead all day, baby.
This was pretty cool. I thought his idea to use the chainsaw actually came to Hooper when he was stuck in a busy hardware store, and he thought about mowing through the crowd with it to get his way out. So
Normal.
That's where he pulled that in, which is pretty clever, considering nobody had done this before, which horror was definitely in its infancy in the mid-'70s. He also said he used the whole based on true events misinformation intentionally, pretty much just to mimic the lies of the government.
Yeah, it's kind of an FU to the government, because you had the whole Nixon situation.
And Watergate and all the Vietnam.
Yeah.
The lies of the media to the public.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of his, not really a parody, but kind of just showing you what media can do to twist people's perceptions with little to no proof at all.
It's pretty much he's of the mindset of, hey, they can do it, why can't I?
It's a pretty interesting, pretty novel concept at the time. So a lot of firsts for this movie, even though I guess it doesn't seem as dense as it was for me on this rewatch when I first...
Oh, this is like a super influential movie. Like so many so many other movies have, paid homage, as we like to say. Blair Witch Project, but the whole, this is a true story bullshit. We've talked about it a few episodes back with X being pretty much almost a fucking remake. Well, not really a remake, I guess, but like the basic outline of the entirety of how the movie unfolds is the same way it unfolds with Texas Chainsaw.
Another bit here, maybe questionable as to why we reviewed this in the middle of July, which, as I mentioned last episode, was actually when Ed Gein when he finally left this mortal coil. The deaths he caused inspired the movie, so we used his death as the anniversary. And also of note here, filming during this movie peaked at 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine how fucking rough and nasty that Texas slaughterhouse was, dude. They also used real blood at times, fresh roadkill, all in that house that had no air conditioning or ventilation. And they filmed it in the dead of the summer in the great state of Texas.
Yeah, they were on such a tight budget. They were filming like 16 hours a day, 7 days a week to get it all in. I think they filmed it under a month, is what I read, or what I heard. The actors weren't allowed to wash their clothes because they felt they either wouldn't be, they might be lost by the what do you call the people that handle the washing of the clothes?
Key grip.
Costume department?
Laundromat? No, there's a name for the shit. They're the people that actually do it.
Wardrobe.
Janitor. Master of the custodial arts.
Sandwich artist.
Let's put a pin in that. The people that wash the fucking clothes, they felt like they would lose them somehow.
The real
They
motherfuckers.
wouldn't be able to get back to that.
The real motherfuckers who make the world go round.
That or like the colors would fade if they were washed, and it was apparently a very very hellacious filming situation.
I had a note attached to the fact that it was 100 degrees inside the house with a specific note about the dinner scene. And there was no air conditioning in this house, of course, and no electric fans. And the room was full of dead animals and just rotting food all over the place. And everyone later recalled that the stench from the rotting food and people's body odor was so terrible that some crew members passed out or became sick from the smell alone. And I have a quote from Edwin Neal, who played the hitchhiker, and he claimed filming the dinner scene specifically was the worst time of his life, and he had been in Vietnam.
God,
Jesus.
that's a fucking statement. But yeah, this movie was just fucking gross, man. You could just smell the heat and you feel it all throughout. It's just fucking putrid.
To go ahead and expand on what you're talking about with that dinner scene, it's definitely, I would say, the most iconic scene in the movie. It was shot in a single session over the course of 25 plus hours, as the actor that played Grandpa refused to sit through another 10-hour makeup session.
He said, fuck this, cut me, I'm done.
Oh, yeah, he said...
Do it.
Cut me out.
It's funny you say that. I like to talk about that later on in the fucking movie. I got a note here. I'm going to talk about that. We can expand on that once we get there. But apparently the kid who... I'm going to say kid. The kid who played the grandpa was 18 years old at the time.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Good for him.
Because it was so fucking hot and shit, I think. They had to have somebody that was young.
I thought this was interesting. Hooper was hoping for a PG rating. He turned his movie in and he got a damn X. Had to cut it just to get an R. And it was even banned across the pond in Britain for quite a time. It is one of 82 video nasties. Have you guys ever heard of a video nasty?
Is that some Australian bullshit?
It is. Titles on the Section 3 list in England referred to as video nasties, where you could not be prosecuted for obscenity, but you were liable to seizure and confiscation under a less obscene charge. Tapes seized under the section could be destroyed after distributors or merchants forfeited them. So if you get caught with this, they take it from you and they burn it.
That's definitely a selling point for this movie. The fact that you're on that list is a good thing.
The other movies like Debbie
There's
Does
81
Dallas,
other. Nah, it's mostly all horror movies, man.
Oh.
It's going to be some fucked up shit like Cannibal Holocaust.
Cannibal Holocaust,
like
I did notice looking through. It's actually a Section 1 movie where you could be
That's definitely going to be on
fined for having that.
Arrest your ass.
That's like a criminal charge. Yeah, pretty wild.
What's it called? It's probably on there too. Emperor something tomato. What the fuck's it called? It's about like child pornography.
Jesus.
And shit. It's
All right,
fucking
yeah.
wild.
I hope that's banned in America.
Let's not promote that anywhere. Hooper said this movie was about meat, and it has been given credit for being a pro-animal rights movie. Guillermo del Toro became a vegetarian for some time after watching this movie for the first time.
Guillermo.
Clearly, he didn't stick to it.
Plus, that's a big bash to be a vegetarian.
Noted on here. I know you discussed that the title of the original working title was Head Cheese, and then it went to Leatherface. It was only up until about a week prior to filming that the head of the Texas Film Commission suggested the title, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's definitely a mouthful.
And thus a franchise was born.
I like head cheese as a title, though. That's another.
Fuck
That's just
that,
a
dude.
nauseous
Oh my
word.
God.
It can't
Yeah.
be franchise.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the most badass title for any movie. Not just horror movie, but any movie ever.
It kind of
There's
narrates
like-
the whole movie right there in the title.
Oh, that's the thing. There's no interpretive bullshit at all. It is what it is, you know?
You both know I'm a big wrestling fan, and this movie has some wrestling connections. So here we go. Or wrestling from the South. The Leatherface name and gimmick were used by many professional wrestling promotions as a tribute to the film. The character was first used in Memphis, Tennessee, and it's been used by several American wrestlers over the years. But specifically, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, FMW, in Japan, sometimes uses a character called Super Leather.
Is it a big white American dude?
Could not find pictures of Super Leather, so let your imaginations run wild.
Maybe you said it's in Japan, right? Maybe he's like sumo. That'd be badass. Sumo Leatherface.
Super Leather.
I thought you were going to say, like, Mankind or some shit.
No,
I could kind of see Mankind leaning
I
into
can
this
kind
character.
of see Mankind.
no, well, I wasn't in my
What's
research.
his fucking name? Paul Bunyan or some
Mick
shit?
Foley.
What's his name?
Mick Foley.
Mick Foley, okay.
Also Cactus Jack or Dude Love.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Nerd
Don't you
alert.
get me started.
That dude used to shove thumbtacks in the head of his dick to, like, toughen himself up.
Let's take a little trip to Texas, boys.
It's so hot.
It is fucking hot. The film opens with a narrated intro that leads to a radio broadcast that covers a range of gruesome violence, grave robbing, local murders, all kinds of heinous shit. I don't know how you guys felt about that fucking radio broadcast, but it was pretty fucking depressing.
I thought it really gave the small town vibe.
Are you talking about the radio broadcast thing? I think it did the opposite. Like, it painted, like, the political landscape across the country and shit. I thought that was great.
But there wasn't a single, like, he didn't take a beat to, like, do a Crest commercial or anything in there. It was all just fucking
Oh, no, it
worse
was all
and
bad
worse
news.
and
It was
worse.
all, like, one worse thing after another worse thing.
Going back to the illusion we made earlier about how the media can just fucking drag you down. That kind of paints that right up front.
So this may not make the show, and that's fine. I watched this show. I watched this film, and the opening credits had like the rolling screen, and it said, "Sally survived the attack, but all of her friends died." And then I realized I was watching the beginning of the second one,
Nice. Spoiler alert.
Wow.
and I was like, "They really told you how this movie was going to end."
well,
in
here's the
first one,
thing.
huh?
Like,
They Tarantino'd it.
the crawl actually kind of spoils the movie too, like in the original, because it talks about how, you know, somebody's going to survive and that person had a brother.
That's
Well,
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about these things, if we're going to quote unquote base this on true events, someone has to survive to tell the fucking story.
How was Titanic made, Chris? They all died.
The rich motherfuckers got off. And now they own all the shit.
You
in
know that
America.
bitch had more room on that fucking duel. She kept pushing his ass in the water and shit, knowing she had more room.
You leave Leo DiCaprio out of this.
As Chris talked about, the opening of the movie paints a very bleak picture. in my opinion, one of the most memorable opening scenes in horror history. The opening crawl with narration by a little-known actor named John Larroquette. If you guys are familiar with Mr. Larroquette.
He's still little known to me.
This was his very first credited role. He was in Stripes. He was in Richie Rich. I know one of you motherfuckers have seen Richie Rich.
I've seen Richie Rich.
He was the bad guy. He was the antagonist. Anyway, he narrates pretty much all the opening crawls for the openings for the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Sally Hardesty, her boyfriend Jerry, along with best friend Pam and her boyfriend Kirk. Not to mention Sally's wheelchair-bound brother Franklin, or, for reasons that escape me entirely, driving to an old family home in Texas. On the way, they stop at a local cemetery so Sally can determine the whereabouts of old Grandpa, post-mass grave vandalization.
Man, when they first wheeled Franklin out of that fucking van to take a piss.
In a fucking coffee pot? Was that what that was?
Well, yeah, it was an old coffee. It was old coffee.
I thought he was going to take a shit when they first...
Well, here's the thing. You know what? Me and you on the same page. I'm sitting there and I'm watching Franklin, played by Paul A. Partain, excuse me. Get out of the van with that empty coffee can. My first thought was, man, this fat fuck gonna need an empty KFC bucket if he's about to take a shit. Then his ass goes tumbling down the fucking hill. That shit was classic.
How fast was that damn semi-truck going to blow him down the hill?
Scared the
it had to be going 276 miles an hour to fucking
God almighty.
Create that kind of gust.
He could have pissed in that can in the van.
You don't want about to see his dick, Chris. Come on now.
I was going to look at his dick.
There's women in there.
They're not going to be looking at his dick. I'm sorry.
Put it away, Franklin.
I did they talk about the slaughterhouse a little bit on the way. That foreshadowing that definitely escaped me watching this as a kid, but makes some pretty interesting allusions to what will happen. Definitely foreshadowing.
This dude remembering the glory days of the slaughterhouse was the weirdest shit.
I remember when old Grandpa used to fucking just whack Bessies and whatever the fuck you call them. Some heifers over there.
With sledgehammers, and sometimes you have to hit them more than once. But now they use those ratchet bolt guns. Ain't quite as fun anymore.
He said,
What is going on?
That gun's no good. It kind of does put in perspective though, like the modernization of like the food industry and stuff, and
of murder. You
did kind of like. Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Meat is murder.
But you really ran those guys. You ran those guys out of jobs, and when they can't afford to feed themselves on cattle, they turn to another form of sustenance, as it were.
There was a man out there, Chris, who was so good at hitting cows in the head with a sledgehammer, and he got let go because of your ass.
Legend. Fucking legend.
Because of your ass.
The group later picks up a very strange-looking hitchhiker who drops various tidbits of gross-ass knowledge on the kiddos. He takes a picture of the gang, cuts himself with Franklin's knife, and even ends up cutting Franklin with his own handy-dandy pocket razor. They throw the creepy fuck out the van and drive off, but not before the madman can smear blood along its side.
Hitchhiker, played by veteran voice actor Edwin Neal, actually reprises his role of the hitchhiker in the soon-to-be 2023 release of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game, which looks to be fucking dope.
Oh, they're doing that Friday the 13th treatment.
He's got a quote here. Franklin, when they first pick him up, and he's just looking at him, he's like, "We done picked up Dracula." Look at this. My family's always been in meat. Franklin
My
says,
family's always been in meat.
Whole family of Draculas.
Yeah, this dude, the image of this dude was what creeped me out the most as a kid. I don't know why. He's just so uneasy in that van, man.
You watch the guy, and you can tell he has, like, his brain isn't fully formed. It's like he's an adolescent. And he has this childlike joy when it comes to talking about slaughter and murder. Or not murder. Can you murder a fucking cow? I mean, I guess you would call it slaughter.
Polaroids out of his pocket of mutilated cows.
Yeah,
like that he had like in a little beaver pouch.
A beaver pouch.
But he has that childlike fascination with it, and it's like, it definitely leaves you unsettled.
He didn't see any peculiarities in what he enjoyed. And his whole head cheese conversation had me. What the fuck is head cheese? Can I go ahead and ask this?
Head cheese is literally a gelatinous fat that
He
comes
described
from
it, but I still don't get it.
literally it's taking the cow's head, scraping all that shit out except for the tongue, and just like mushing it together into like a gelatinous like jelly type fat.
You just eat it like on toast.
You put it on like crackers and shit.
So it's like Vegemite, just American version.
What?
Just to,
What are you fucking murdering a turnip and you fucking
Really redneck version of Vegemite. Okay.
You can just say marmalade. You ain't gotta say Australian shit.
he said, my brother makes the best head cheese. You said you liked head cheese.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Him and Franklin are like hitting it off, dude. They about to hang the fuck out.
I said, get me the fuck out of this van.
So Franklin, who is a complete sane human being, also loves this head cheese shit.
He mentioned it in passing. He wasn't like,
Well, hold on. I
this
feel
kid
like
really
you're
took a hold of it.
Y'all being really judgmental of people that eat stuff like that.
Head cheese. I mean, I eat Spam, Vienna sausage, potted meat.
Well, to be honest with you, it's the same.
stuff.
It's the same kind of shit. You eat hot dogs. If you eat hot dogs, it's the same thing.
Head cheese is like in the same category as souse meat. It's like just too far gone.
What about Banner sausage?
Vienna sausage?
Banner
What is
sausage. Banner sausage.
Oh,
Banner
man.
sausage is that sausage that comes in a can that looks really runny and disgusting,
oh, God, yeah.
but it's like the best shit on the planet. You mix it with eggs.
Yeah,
put
like
it on a
breakfast
biscuit.
sausage in
Oh
a
my
tin
God.
can. You just dump it out. It's like slop. It's
I'm
disgusting.
not familiar
Excuse
with
me,
that.
it's not like slop. It's like a fucking fine caviar.
Hey, excuse you.
It's head cheese.
It's like pig caviar.
It's pig head cheese.
You know what? That's probably a good way of putting it.
Everybody in this van is sweating their ass off.
Oh, God. You know that. You imagine filming in that fucking van during this scene. You got, what, 6 people in there?
Yeah.
110-degree weather. Or 110-degree
Forms in the
temperature,
damn
whatever.
front seat.
All the windows are closed. This dude's covered in, like, moleskins and shit like that. It's, that'd be very uncomfortable.
And he was
And
setting
then,
fires
oh my
and
God!
shit in there.
Imagine the
Yes, he
ass.
was.
Imagine the ass sweat on Franklin's chair during this scene.
I really empathize with the wheelchair because I mean that's not something you see in horror movies, like a handicapped semi-main character.
We saw that in Friday the 13th is ripping off every other movie. So
There
never
you go.
mind.
That was like such a good scene. That wheelchair
Yeah, it was.
falling down the stairs. Oh my God!
Like the 3-minute long fall.
so good.
Yeah, I think Franklin is like legitimately delivering like actual prose as opposed to everybody else. For, like, the first 30 minutes
Franklin's
of the movie.
great. Everybody else is dog shit, including the Sarah character, where the fuck her name is.
Sally.
Yeah, she's not very good.
Already forgettable.
That last sequence is good, but this part,
Yeah,
not so much.
the Scream Queen shit's good, but everything else is terrible. The teenagers arrive at a gas station where the owner tells them the tanks are empty. So they set off to the old-ass home on a prayer, just managing to make it to the old dump.
Did you guys notice, like, when the guy kept walking up to the van, I guess what you would call him is the gas station owner or the proprietor, whatever. The guy who had the bulbous head would walk up with him, and he would
Like
fucking
stand
start
awkwardly
washing.
to the
He'd
side.
start washing the truck or washing the van. And as soon as the guy would walk off, the fuck guy washing it would walk off too. But then when he walked back up, he would walk back up, start washing it again.
Not to spoil anything, but you never saw that guy again.
His ass was over there. In the fucking oven. Not to spoil it, but
That was his dick
we
and
saw
balls.
him. We saw him.
Tired of everyone else happily prepping for vacation in Pound Town, Franklin gladly tells and directs Pam and Kirk to a nearby lake, presumably so he can beat his meat in peace. The couple finds a dried-out hole before wandering over to a nearby house with a running generator.
Yeah, this is when the crew, the gang, I guess if you want to call them, arrive at Franklin and Sally's dad's place or grandpa's place, whatever it is.
This is when Fred and Daphne set off on their own.
And Poor Franklin, that dilapidated house. Poor Franklin's having to wheel himself around the fucking house and shit. And
That was so sad.
The camera is sitting there the whole time in that one fucking position, just watching this actor struggle to get into the house and shit. And you definitely like you said, you're definitely sympathetic for a very unsympathetic character.
It's something I did not go into this film thinking I was going to be sympathetic toward these characters.
Oh yeah.
Why did he just start beating his meat, man?
What?
That's what everybody else was trying to do.
He was trying to get in the fucking house. He was trying to be out in the sun. They let him out in the sun to bake.
What did he think he was going to go in there to do?
To ruin everybody's fun. What do you think?
That's why he went.
Like good. What do you think Franklin's good for? He's a fucking wet blanket.
But I thought his plan was to like listen to everybody else make love.
Why did they think they could fix this house? This house is too far gone.
I think what it is they were headed home from like vacation or some bullshit, and they just wanted to stop by
so they
on
can
the
fuck,
way
right?
home just to see the house, because they hadn't been there since
fuck.
they hadn't been there since they were children.
What the fuck has Franklin got in his mouth?
That's a sausage link.
Mm-hmm.
He never bit it.
No, he was
walking around with sucking on it.
He was sucking on like a little fucking dick.
I don't know if you told the listeners or not, but at the gas station they was playing country and western music, and had fresh barbecue. That's my
they had barbecue there. All right, for sure.
Next time we come across a joint like that, we'll make sure to pick you up a bag, Hootie.
Shit, pick me up a bag. I'd suck on one of them little sausage links.
It was just awkward. That was like the one meat, the one bit of meat symbolism. I just didn't really. I was like, is Franklin like I don't know. I know what they were trying to tell me with him walking around.
I don't know. What are you
meat.
trying to tell us?
The big ass Slim Jim, Chris.
Like the whole movie's talking about meat.
Jeez, I wish they made a fucking Slim Jim that big. Oh my god!
So oh, put in my mouth.
It did not look appetizing. Whatever he was.
I'll bite a Slim Jim and I'll put it up in my fucking gums like it's some snuff. I'll be sitting there like just chewing on it all day, like I'm about to spit it back out. Satiates my appetite.
Pam sits outside while Kirk explores the house, walking around willy-nilly in a stranger's home. Kirk comes face to face with a large man wearing a mask made out of human skin. Leatherface. Leatherface sends Kirk to the great beyond with some sledgehammer blows to the head and drags him into the back room. This is the moment, right?
Yeah, this is the
moment that fucked with you, Hootie.
We're in a fucking horror film.
So this moment did not. I'm not gonna lie. You two kind of showed me this was gonna be a big deal when we watched the trailer because y'all were like, "Don't show it, don't show it." So I knew something was gonna happen, but it really was effective when Leatherface hits him in the head, and then there's a shot of his legs like shaking, like you would if you were hitting. And that was like, okay, that's fucked. That's fucked.
Like a cattle that you got to finish putting down or something, like an animal,
that
literally.
Was very disturbing.
Yeah, definitely over the top.
Pam goes into the old house where she stumbles upon a room filled with bones, live chickens, and the best couch you will ever find on Craigslist. She goes to flee the house, but Leatherface catches her on the front porch and drags her back inside. Some next-level brutality kicks in as he hangs her on a meat hook in the back room. Dangling there, she bears witness to Leatherface dismembering Kirk with a fucking chainsaw.
So right here, let's break down this whole sequence of Kirk going in as well as Pam. Kirk gets the whack. He's kind of drawn in to that actual room by Leatherface, who was squealing like a fucking pig. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I could never understand if that was him or a pig in the house.
Oh no, that was him.
Either could be correct.
That was actually. Here's the crazy part. That was actually the actor.
It could have been a pig in the fucking house.
That was the actor Gunnar Hansen who was playing Leatherface making that noise.
Great fucking job.
Yeah, Gunnar Hansen went above and beyond for this role. He had went and tried to audition for the part of Leatherface, but unfortunately the part had already been cast. However, the
was it Franklin?
Actor, no, Franklin's too short.
Damn it,
legs don't work. He's in a fucking wheelchair. You imagine Leatherface in a wheelchair? But yeah, the actor had apparently barricaded himself in his room and gotten drunk and refused to play the character any longer. So Gunnar Hansen ended up getting the part, and he studied a lot of mental patients and those born with like mental issues and stuff for the role, as well as how to properly sound like a pig with the squeals and
Who the fuck
such.
teaches that class?
Properly. The slow
The guy from Police Academy, black dude. What's the
Mating calls with the police academy guy.
Also, a little bit after that part of the movie, Pam, played by Terry McMean. We're subject to the infamous Texas Chainsaw Massacre ass shot
The shit was great.
that
This was the best
shows
shot
up
in the
in
movie.
every single Texas Chainsaw Massacre from then on. So thank you, Dukes of Hazzard, for both your Daisy and her Dukes.
Yeah, because the shot begins under the swing. The camera is under the swing, and it pushes with her all the way up to the door. It's very fucking nice. Her outfit is fucking
a dolly
banging,
or
too.
whatever. Don't you use like a dolly to do that?
I didn't see a track. Usually a dolly
Have
runs
that
on the track.
rolling sequence, because it felt like it was like the camera was rolling along with her ass.
Yeah, you know what really fucked with me in that whole scene? The most disturbing part for me was the lack of a sound effect when he threw her up on that meat hook. Because usually you'll get like the squelch or whatever, right? And it kind of makes it like animated, like cartoon shit. But it was just dead silence.
I think that right
That
there
fucked with me, man.
was part of
Like it was so ordinary, you know?
what's the director trying to get that PG rating. You know, I feel like if he would have had the actual sound of like meat on a hook right there, like the sound it would make, you can imagine how disgusting that sound would be. It's just
Exactly.
it's another one of those things you
But
had
taking
to
that
cut
out
through.
of it made it to me like we were in a fucking butcher's room, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like if you got a slab of meat, you just hung it up there. You probably wouldn't hear anything, right?
That, and you think about it from this perspective too. Leatherface had probably heard that sound 1,000 times or whatever, and he probably wouldn't hear anything doing that. You know, him doing that would be like you starting your car to drive to work in the morning. It's like you've done it so many times you don't even acknowledge it.
The fact that he thought this movie was going to get a PG rating is
It blew my
wild to
mind.
me.
That was the most interesting note I had in this whole. I was
What?
like, "What movie did this motherfucker see that I did not?"
Well, what did Jaws get? Didn't Jaws get like a fucking PG?
Jaws might have a PG, yeah.
How the fuck does Jaws have a PG and this shit has a R? There's way more gore and nudity in fucking Jaws as opposed to, the gore in this movie. This movie doesn't have that much gore, in all honesty.
Jaws did it in a more tasteful manner.
It's the animal aspect, man. When you humanize the violence, it really creeps people out.
Yeah.
That's why we feel so disturbed watching this.
One more thing I wanted to talk about before we moved on. The room that Pam goes into, the one with all the plumage and feathers and shit on the floor.
That badass couch.
Badass couch. I'll be talking about the couch later on. The set
You don't remember the couch,
design-
Hootie?
This is a badass couch of human bones. I don't know if I'd call it a badass couch.
Oh,
It was kinda
badass.
cruel.
They had fucking shoulder blade. The fucking couch had shoulder blades. You ever seen a couch with shoulder blades?
Not one made not of human bones, no.
Hey, don't you be sitting on the arm of my couch now.
The couch is a prime example. The set design and art in this movie are top fucking notch. It's so distinctive and memorable in comparison with like modern films. And this bone furniture and all these shrines clearly took inspiration from Ed Gein, as Ed Gein was known as a grave robber who took bone, skin, and just turned them into like lamps, belts, all sorts of shit around the house.
Nipple belts. Remember the nipple belt. The sun begins to drop, and before Jerry can drop him out, he gots to go look for Kirk and Pam. He finds the house, goes inside, and even makes it into the back room unharmed. He quickly discovers Pam locked in a freezer, clinging to life. Leatherface does what he does, quickly appears, and bashes Jerry with the old sledgehammer. 3 of them off the plate, just like that.
The way Jerry drops right here is fucking crazy.
It looked super fucking
It looks
real.
fucking real. It looked like somebody really just bashed this dude's head in. And the whole thing's off camera. Like, you just see the hammer drop, and then Jerry just falls out of frame. The movie really leaves, like, a lot of the gore and the violence and the aftermath up to the viewer. like the thoughts you have in your head of what happened.
Right.
It's much more like demented and fucking sickening and horrific than what you see in the actual movie.
Yeah, I guess we should note here that I had mentioned he put her on the hook and dismembered Kirk. I'm assuming that's what he did, because technically we never really see what he does to Kirk with the chainsaw, because it's not explicitly on camera, you know. And then here's where Leatherface like panics with the after the Jerry kill. I guess because Pam is still clinging to life, and he's kind of freaked out about what's going on here.
I guess a good you think remorseful?
I think he was worried about getting in trouble, like when Dad comes home.
That's the thing. Like the way Leather acts after bashing Jerry is in subsequent In subsequent Texas Chainsaw movies, he'll come to be known as Leather.
I'm gonna call him Face.
But the way Leather acts after bashing in Jerry's skull, in my opinion, you can tell there's like some sort of remorse. Leatherface is like one of the most misunderstood characters in all of horror, and almost feels like himself a victim and a pawn of his family's degeneracy and cannibalism. It's almost like they just use him as the former slaughterhouse worker, you know?
Yeah, he definitely gets victimized more than any of the other horror icons that we think of. He's not the pure evil that we're used to seeing with your Michael Myers or whatever the fuck Jason's got going on, you know?
Because it's like, I think almost all instances of this movie, he doesn't go after his victims. His victims come to him, you know? It's not like he's your typical stalker.
He's not a stalker, yeah.
It's almost like he kills out of self-defense.
Right.
For the most part. Obviously, it's not the case with, like, you know, a few other people we see in the movie, but... Yeah.
So this is like the first time we get a really good look at the mask, too, after this scene. Kind of gets a close-up. You guys got anything about this mask?
Well, back to Joey's point with him killing out of self-defense. I think in Texas, if somebody walks into your house... Oh, you can't kill them. I don't know if you can chop them and eat them.
Is it called stand your ground laws?
There you go.
I think that's what Florida calls it. I think Texas just calls it being Texan law.
So I found a great tidbit about the mask that I thought I would share you two. Leatherface with 3 different masks in this film. There was the killing mask, the old lady mask, and the pretty woman mask. Julia Roberts, eat your heart out.
Pretty woman walking down the street. Pretty woman, the kind I'd like to meet. Richard Gere shoved a gerbil up his ass.
That's true. All I could think about with the generator on was, I left something turned on at home. Leatherface just spinning in a circle.
So Gunnar Hansen commented, the reason he wore a mask was that the mask really determined his personality. Who he wanted to be that day determined what mask he put on. So when Drayton comes home with Sally, Leatherface is wearing the old lady mask, and he's wearing an apron and carrying a wooden spoon. He wants to be domestic, helpful in the kitchen. At dinner, he wears a different face of the pretty woman, which has makeup. The pretty woman outfit consists of a female wig and a black suit, as Leatherface is, quote-unquote, dressing up for dinner, an old Deep South tradition which stems from his southern upbringing. And finally, the killing mask is the skin mask he wears while chasing and murdering captives, simply put.
Jesus, that's pretty...
That's a lot of shit.
It's pretty fucking unique, right? Like, how many of our masked killers change their masks based on their mood, you know? That's pretty fucking cool.
I think Michael Myers changed his about 30 times, but that's more along the lines of, like, production issues.
It's more like dog shit production values, trying to recreate an iconic mask that no one can fucking figure out. Fuck. It can only be done right one time, apparently.
One time. But yeah, it's almost like like who he said, his personality reflects whatever mask he's wearing.
Yeah, really digging the character more than I thought I would, honestly.
It's also, to Joey's point earlier, that's a child aspect to him. Because a child would like put on a different mask to be, you know, somebody else.
Do we think the pretty girl mask is Pam's face or not? Or do we not think he's had enough time to actually make her face into a mask?
We would have to ask Ed Gein.
You gotta tan it, right? You gotta like dry it out and shit.
Yeah.
I guess that would take like months to dry it out, right?
Isn't this
And
fun?
stretch it. And
I don't
sew
know.
it.
Leave it out in the fucking Texas sun. Apparently, it can be done in a day and a half.
You're the fuckers who eat potted meat, so I'll let y'all sort that out.
I mean, potted meat's fantastic.
Yeah, I take some Vienna weenies. I put a damn thing of vinegar on them, and I'll chop them up into little bitty tiny pieces and put them on a cracker.
And now it's nighttime.
Caviar to South.
Sally and Franklin argue for a bit, until her having to roll his ass through the pitch-dark wooded trail to find their mates. She hits on 100 when Leatherface leaps out and carves up Franklin with a chainsaw, not unlike a Thanksgiving bird. Sally flees into the dark woods, Leatherface in pursuit.
This motherfucker's out there screaming, Jerry! That whole thing where they're arguing, where she's trying to ditch his ass and get the fucking flashlight from him so she can go looking for him without being burdened with having to roll Franklin's ass around.
Well, and as we see, he served his purpose. The human shield did his thing.
Oh,
God,
he carved his ass up, dude.
He enjoyed. This is the only kill I think Leatherface enjoyed, because he did work on this motherfucker.
Pretty much rolled his ass into his chainsaw.
Oh, she left him so fucking quick. She took her foot and put the damn the parking brake on his wheels before she could roll out.
She pushed him further into the blade.
She put the fucking kickstand down and shit, talking about, okay.
I will tell you, fellas, if we are ever camping and I go missing, for the love of God, do not just start screaming my name at the top of your lungs walking through the woods.
This motherfucker keeps saying, we need to just go back to the gas station. She's like, no, I want to go look for Jerry, because Jerry, that's her boyfriend in the movie.
Jerry.
Yeah, I want to go look for Jerry. He's like, no, let's go to the gas station. He goes up to get the keys out of the truck. Oh, shit, they took the keys. He just started beeping the horn. We got to go get him.
God, he made so much noise.
The extended chase seems to end when Sally finds the real slaughterhouse in town. She gets inside and hits the upstairs, running up on what appears to be the mummified remains of an elderly couple. Leatherface makes it inside, and Sally, as we will see, jumps through windows like fucking Jackie Chan.
Holy shit.
Shout out Jackie Chan.
We need to talk about something right quick before we go a little bit further. This whole, in my opinion, Marilyn Burns, who plays Sally, probably should have won an Oscar just for being able to keep her nipples hard the entire movie, despite Franklin being the most annoying and detestable character that he could possibly be. How did they accomplish this?
Especially as hot as it was. Maybe she just has a unique anatomy. Good for her.
In 110-degree weather, her nipples are hard as fucking diamonds this entire movie.
Well, I think it did cool down at nighttime. Because the dinner scene was actually shot during the day, and they used blackout stuff to make it seem like nighttime. So maybe it was actually cold. I have no idea. I enjoyed, there was a note that I found to where the actor that played Leatherface had to saw up random limbs in the trees and stuff to slow himself down because the actress was so slow at running.
Yeah, I felt like she got ran up on a lot in this movie.
In this sequence, to her defense, I think like her running through this brush with her fucking hair being out the way it is, that that shit got caught up in like branches left and right. Apparently, this whole sequence fucked her up, like like for real. Like a lot of the blood you see is on her, like it's from these branches and stuff.
Every actor in this movie had some sort of injury at some point because they were using real chainsaws, real fucking hammers. There was a lot of bumps and bruises, a lot of people who genuinely got hurt making this shit.
Also, have you guys noticed that this movie doesn't have a score at all?
I did notice that about halfway through. And I was like, what song should I sing on the podcast? There's no fucking music here.
There's none. Like this, I think it's most effective in this scene right here where she's being chased with a chainsaw. Because all you can
she
hear
screams so much.
It's her fucking screaming and that chainsaw. And that tension from that, with no like artificial tension coming from the music. Oh, that shit is like, it just puts you on edge, man.
Yeah, that's kind of why I pulled that negative review, because literally all you hear are fucking grunts, screams, and chainsaw noise.
Yeah.
That is the score.
This scene will be recreated for the next 50 years at your local haunted trail near your house.
I fucking thought that same shit. You remember that motherfucker cut my coat with a chainsaw?
Joy, there was no blade on the goddamn chainsaw.
Bull fucking shit,
now.
dude. I come back, my coat. I had this fresh ass starter jacket, bro.
It was gross. It was like a
Fresh
Kmart jacket.
as fuck. It was puffy as hell. I was protected on all sides from all elements. Come back after the haunted trail, I got a big gash down the side of it. This dude almost took me out.
Leatherface and got his ass. She runs into the woods again until she comes upon the old gas station. Inside, the owner consoles her, runs off to fetch the truck, and comes back with an entirely new disposition. He beats her around with a broom, ties her up, and shoves her in the truck. I set on driving her back to the madhouse.
You kind of glossed over where he beating that ass with that fucking broomstick.
I will say, him beating on her in the truck might be the most disturbing part of this whole fucking movie.
That looked super real.
Yeah, he looked like he was enjoying this shit. This is why I could not help but enjoy Leatherface as a character. Because this fucking dude was sadistic.
Oh, these dudes are sick. Yeah, for sure.
This dude is a sick son of a bitch in the movie.
This is Jim Sidow plays the cook. And when he's, not to gloss over what you were talking about, when he's beating that ass with the broomstick.
Fucking laughing.
It brings back so many fucking memories for me. Like, I can't even look at a bale of straw without, like, triggering my broom PTSD when I used to get hit with a broom all the time. You don't remember that shit?
Shoved it up your butt and stuff.
Yeah, I used to get my ass beat with a fucking broom.
Whatever you can
so
pick
damn
up,
big.
Man. Come here, you big bastard.
It's back in the good times.
This dude just fucking creeped me out, dude. He smiled. He would say, like, oh, don't worry. Just don't make any more noise. And he would fucking hit her again. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude?
So when she's in the gas station waiting for him to come back to help her out, and she sees the meat cooking in the oven, does she realize it's human flesh or not?
I think she just begins to question. She begins to put things together. I don't think it's ever told specifically that it's human.
I couldn't tell.
I think that one looked like a fucking torso or some shit. Would you guys ever try human meat for once in your life? Let's say there's no negative repercussions. There's no like mad
like if
cow
you offered
disease.
me a pinky.
No, fuck no, it's too much bone. If somebody offered you like an ass cheek.
A Boston butt, but
No, wait, no. They say like your thigh is like the best cut of meat on a human, according to cannibals.
I think I'm good.
You would never try fucking human meat.
I don't think so.
There's no negative repercussions, no morality bullshit behind it. No mad cow disease, none of that stuff.
No mad cow disease, Chris. Come on.
I've never been that hungry. Is there any other meat left in the world? It can't be as good as chicken.
Well, it all tastes like chicken, Chris.
It can't be as good as chicken.
They say it tastes like pig.
I would actually add up.
Like the fat to muscle tissue ratio.
It's all the salt we eat and shit too, yeah.
I would say yes, only with an asterisk, only if I was in like a Donner Party situation.
Sally is tied up at the dinner table, and we learn the hitchhiker, the gas station owner, and Leatherface are all one cannibalistic family. Sally is physically and verbally tormented by the demented family, raising the anxiety of this whole project to another level. After fetching old granddad, the gang decide to let this mummified motherfucker, who is somehow alive, kill Sally with a sledgehammer. Because no one else does it like granddad, but he is too weak to do so.
He was the best. No one. It always took. It's not going to hurt at all. It only took one whack.
This is how Granddad did it.
Did anybody catch the irony of what she was tied to?
What was? I did see the arms of the chair.
The arms of the fucking chair were actual arms.
Yeah, that shit cracked me up a little bit.
Who do you want to jump in right here?
Had in my notes. They bring the dead grandpa downstairs. And then my second note was, wait a minute, this dude's actually alive.
Oh yeah.
What is going on here?
There's actually like, all right, I'm talking about this movie. It's not really a movie you got to think about. There is a parallel right here between Franklin and the grandpa. Both of these individuals have to rely on their families and friends for help, to get around and stuff like that. But whereas Franklin is disliked.
Did they use Franklin's wheelchair?
No. They just wheel him downstairs and like just pick him up.
Yeah, they picked his ass
Oh,
up.
okay.
That would be
Why
fucking
didn't they
dope
use-
if they had Franklin.
Yeah, they should have.
That would have been dope.
Should repurpose that shit.
But whereas Franklin is disliked and neglected, Grandpa is like revered and respected and held in high regard.
Even though he's the invalid of the group.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And also during the dinner scene, you like Hootie alluded to, the Grandpa's actually alive. You find this out by when he's sucking on her blood finger. He's starting to fucking dab on him and shit with his
Brought
little
him to
like
life.
orange and shit. He's like doing a little dance. But during this scene, the prop knife with the fake blood wasn't functioning properly. So out of patience, Gunnar Hansen slit her finger open, and Grandpa, played by John Dugan,
Put it in his mouth.
oblivious, sucked the blood from
my
her finger.
God.
Told you, man.
And
This
years
movie did some
later,
real
years
shit.
later, after finding out about it, said, in hindsight, that was pretty erotic.
This went a whole other direction.
I'm not gonna lie, I still masturbate to them to this day.
Oh, apparently it fucked her up. Like it grossed her the fuck out, but him it didn't at all. He was cool with it.
Yeah, he's sucking on her blood for real.
And I don't know if you noticed, but when he's holding the hammer and we hear it dropping into the bucket, that's not great sound design. That's a real fucking hammer dropping into a bucket an inch away from her skull. She literally almost got her fucking skull bashed in several times. Shit's nuts, man. This whole scene had me fucking anxious as hell, dude. Her screaming for like 5 fucking minutes straight. Dude. It was terrifying.
I got tired of the screaming. I know it was
No.
repetitive.
Come on,
That's
man.
funny, man. That's funny because I did read a note where people were talking about men in particular, when they watch this movie, are more put off by her screaming than what's being done to her. What the
Well,
fuck does that say about you?
I wouldn't go as far as to say that. I just
Men say her screaming is the disturbing part, not what's happening to her. Think about that for a minute.
How about that?
It's fucking, that's psychology, buddy.
But the whole screaming thing, apparently.
Aren't I an
Ellen-
asshole, Chris?
It's not your fault. It's just it's how people are.
Yeah. Apparently, this whole sequence with Marilyn Burns being tied up during the filming of it, she was tied up for so long she began to grow hysterical, much like her character, and much like a scene in an underrated gem of an indie film you guys may or may not have heard of, titled Blood Money.
Blood Money.
Parts unknown.
Written and directed by
Back to the streets.
our esteemed co-host, Ryan Hootie. And starring. Go ahead and throw that in there.
Cut me.
You get fucking hot strapped to a chair for that long, Hootie. You
Give
can attest
the
to
audience a little behind the scenes of this sequence, Chris.
So-
this is right when LeBron was making his decision to go play for Miami. Everybody keep
this.
this in mind.
Ironically, it was the Miami Heat that got him.
So yeah, I wrote this scene. This was the middle of July. I was duct taped to a chair, and then
For how long?
there was no AC in that room. I don't know. I was probably in there three and a half hours in the middle of July, and no AC. I was covered in sweat.
I'm sitting there in the other room watching fucking ESPN. The goddamn air conditioner in my face, just feeling. I'm so damn cold. I'm down. I'm wearing fucking thermals and shit. I'm so goddamn cold.
Losing patience, the hitchhiker grabs the hammer, losing his grip on Sally in the tussle. And in all the confusion, she breaks free and jumps through another fucking window. Sun coming up, Sally runs for the road, Leatherface and the hitchhiker giving chase. Thankfully, an 18-wheeler provides some leverage and turns this shit-stained hitchhiker into a stain on the blacktop.
He could have caught her 20 times over during this whole chase sequence, but much like the sick and sadistic, fucked up inbred that he is, he's literally running serpentine behind her and slashing at her back with that razor she used to cut Franklin open with early in the movie.
Yeah, I was wondering why he wasn't just grabbing her, but when they finally got close enough to the camera, because the grain on this movie is so fucking rough, I could see he was actually cutting her and just enjoying it.
Can I ask why there's no women in the family?
Well, I guess Leatherface was kind of serving that role, right?
Oh, was he now? Okay.
He was like the motherly, like the cook and the caregiver. You didn't get that impression?
So who was banging Leatherface?
It goes back to the whole Ed Gein thing, man. Mother. He became mother.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually...
That could have been the mom's face.
They have some reverence for the matronly figures. I mean, they still have the grandma's corpse up in the fucking attic.
And she is supposedly dead. Supposedly.
Yeah, I think she is actually dead because she is like literally a skeleton in the fucking attic.
Another Psycho reference, probably.
Well, I think this may be another callback to Gein, as much as we talked about him already. Is like his mother, while he was being raised, pretty much taught him that women are all,
Horse.
creatures to be despised, and
They just want your dick, Ed.
Yeah, they're all evil. They're all bad.
Leatherface catches up, chainsaw roaring. He saws at the truck door as Sally and the driver make their way around the truck. The crafty driver sends a wrench square into Leatherface's dome, dropping his ass.
Scoped him.
The chainsaw digs into that bitch's leg. The added limp gives Sally just enough space to hop onto the back of a passing pickup truck. She rides away, laughing hysterically at Leatherface, who is left in the road, swinging his chainsaw in frustration, dancing in the rays of the rising Texas sun.
Can somebody tell me what happened to the truck driver?
Oh, he just got away.
He's still running this. You ever seen Forrest Gump? He got his own fucking movie in '94. That was a big boy too. He was fucking gone.
Oh, he was trucking it. He said, "Fuck this, I'm out." Hit him in the head with a monkey wrench. Gone. The whole screams of pain from Leatherface when he chops his leg open with that.
That was the most human he sounded.
With that pulling chainsaw, which is what that was. Actually was a real scream of pain. The way they filmed that sequence is they took a piece of metal with a bag of meat tied to it, and the friction from the chainsaw on the metal actually burned Gunnar Hansen's leg. That scream, it sounded so human because it was actually
he dropped a
scream of
running
pain.
chainsaw on his fucking leg.
Oh yeah, this dude was committed.
Jesus. Yeah, he sounded most like a grown man in that moment. He was like, "Oh shit!" But the suit, once he gets out into the sunlight and starts running with the pretty woman mask and the black suit, the fucking the badass tie, that's the fucking cool look, man.
Dude, that shit is badass.
That's the Halloween costume right there. The suit and the pretty woman mask.
Him spinning around, just dancing like no one's watching.
She's a maniac.
But her hysterical laughing right there at the end, it's one of those things of you're so scared and then all you can do is laugh. They actually had to reshoot that scene. And at this point she was so exhausted and so just done with, being this character and doing this over and over. That whole sequence is her being hysterical. And her,
she's just laughing at the fucking movie at this point.
Yeah, it's just one of those things of you're kind of going mad,
From the dinner table through this scene, I thought she made up for all the shittiness of the acting before that on her part.
I would like to know how they made the masks. What were they made out of? What was the creation? I didn't find anything on that.
And with that, we leave Leatherface dancing on the blacktop. So ends Texas Chainsaw Massacre. For now.
The OG.
They only go down from here. For the most part.
All right. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and strike that because we said the same thing about the Friday the 13th movies. I think we're going to revisit these. Part 4 and 5 of those movies are actually good.
2 was dog shit.
I think part 2 of Texas Chainsaw is pretty good. After that, it kind of goes downhill.
All this cool shit we talked about in this movie, what piece of memorabilia you could boys take it home?
I think me and you have the same shit, Chris.
I went a little abstract here.
I got made fun of last week for taking the damn ghost microwave. So.
The ghost toaster.
I would pick, because this is the OG film, the original, I'm going with the chainsaw used in the film. To Joey's point, it is a Poland 2 45A specifically, and with a piece of black tape covering the Poland logo in order to avoid possible lawsuit. Give me that sweet ass chainsaw.
The bone bench. That shit is some of the most badass folk art I've ever seen. Ty Pennington of Extreme Home Makeover. Eat your fucking heart out, you cocksucker. This thing is awesome.
It's a nice little addition to the foyer there. Just take your shoes off on the old bone bench.
Here's the thing. I got the little hands on there. I use it to scratch my back. It's like a built-in little back scratcher.
Pretty unsettled by the fact that Joey loves human-made furniture and then possibly is down for eating human flesh. It's kind of disturbing.
I think he's got another career ahead of him. We're not there yet. It's almost there.
Are you super leather, Joey?
I'm going to go with something that kind of unconventional here. Something I didn't even realize was central to this character until I watched this movie. I want to get Leatherface's necktie. He wears one with every fucking outfit, particularly the one he's wearing with the Pretty Woman costume. It's like a pink and black. It's really fucking sharp.
Really
cool
sharp.
Fucking necktie, dude. Very unique. That's something you would associate with a serial murderer.
Yeah, just because you're a killer doesn't mean you can't be a stylish killer.
I like the fucking style, man. Like Hootie said, motherfucker had wardrobe changes. You can't get that from fucking Michael Myers. All right, big boys. That covers what we're going to cover here, so let's wrap this baby up. What kind of letter grade you going to give the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Call me Emma Stone, because this is an easy A. No reaction? Okay. Transcendent imagery, some of the best production design and art ever witnessed, beautiful and unsettling cinematography. The decision not to include a score but various industrial sounds was brilliant, especially the chainsaw chase scene. It fills the audience with suspense and dread. The sound of the saw and the pleas of mercy from Sally with no music to create artificial tension. It's fabulous. The cast of victims are serviceable, aside from Franklin, who's actually pretty good in his role, albeit annoying as fuck. But it's the cannibal family that really shine. There's no way to overstate just how good this movie is. This is horror in its purest, most simple form. There's no interpretive bullshit. It is what it is. It's blunt, it's brutal, it's violent, it's depraved, and it's fucking awesome. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The 1974's Texas Chainsaw Massacre was sadly a blind spot for me, as we went over earlier. I unfortunately saw all of the terrible sequels, except for the new one apparently on Netflix. Also a blind spot. With that being said, this film was a pleasant surprise when you consider this film came out before Halloween and really broke ground in several different ways. The Ed Gein connection to this character and the based on true events white lie Hooper chose to use helped make the story feel even darker. This film receives a letter grade of A- from me.
The plot beats of this movie are minimal, so the flow of the story was still fresh in my mind for the revisit. Setup and subtlety are more nuanced than are recalled, even if it has been mimicked to death over the last 40 plus years. The van scene plays out in equal bits creepy and sad. The dinner table is nightmare fuel and set this generally docile viewer into a bit of an anxious state. So many of the elements here are emblematic of the genre itself. It's cheap, it's fast, and it's intense. The movie is the OG of the slashers, so anything below an A would be foolhardy. I would roll up this tube of juicy red lipstick and smear this assignment with a hooker red A. See you down the road, Leatherface. Alright, we'll recap our guesses for the score here, even though, since this was a side homework assignment, we do not have anything at stake. Who do you thought this film would sit at a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes? I say 88, Joey says a 93. And the actual score for the prize of absolutely nothing was an 82%.
See, that kind of blows my mind that it's that low.
So yeah, nothing to win there, but congratulations, Ryan Hootie, for your second place trophy. We got to get back to our actual most recent winner. Your boy, the man.
Oh, here we go, Joey. Elevated horror coming at
I
us.
know,
Elevated
right?
horror.
I go from something I don't have to think about and can fucking enjoy to something I'm gonna have to like.
I found this beautiful Japanese black and white film that I know
Nah,
you
I'm
two are
gonna
gonna
have to
love.
go to fucking night school and learn some shit in order
So
to
you
appreciate
guys,
the movie.
you guys are assholes, and I always get pinned as what am I looking for here?
The intellectual.
The intellectual, the one who wants to go to the next level. I can't just enjoy simple movies and simple concepts. So as a fuck you to both of you.
You describe elevated horror?
As a fuck you to both of you. We're gonna cover a blind spot of mine that is not quite as highbrow as you might expect that to be. And we're gonna go to this side of the millennium because I feel like we haven't watched much relatively new stuff lately. So we're gonna go to 2009. We're gonna watch Jennifer's Body, starring
shit.
Megan Fox.
You talking about that tube of lube you was talking about earlier? I'm gonna need that tube of lube.
We really gotta watch this dog shit?
You gotta watch this, baby.
Oh, God. He went in the whole other direction, Joey.
We go from fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre to Jennifer's Body.
Fuck yes. All right, we're going to hop on YouTube, check out the official trailer for Jennifer's Body from 2009. Let's go. It's rated R. That's good. None of that PG Texas. Oh, God.
Jesus.
All right. We're already sitting at a B+.
There was a period of time when Megan Fox was the
On
fucking hottest
fire.
thing on the planet.
Now she's just
You
weird.
and me are going
Dumb
out
as hell.
tonight. Wear something
You know.
cute, okay?
Oh, is that
Amanda
Amanda
Seyfried
Seyfried?
is hot too.
It's
Is
just that I like the same things that she likes.
that who that is?
She's the best actress in
Hey,
this
Jennifer.
movie.
You look really pretty.
This is like a Taylor Swift music video.
Why don't you just come by my place? Well, this is random.
Oh, this guy.
This isn't really your house, is it?
We can play mommy and daddy.
Oh,
Makes it a little
We
violent.
always share your bed when we have slumber parties. Jennifer's evil.
I'm gonna tell you something. Boy shorts.
Actually evil, not high school
Boy
evil.
Shorts gets a thumbs up from me.
that's pretty hot.
Chip is looking really cute to me lately. How is he tasting these days? You are never a good friend. You could have anybody that you want. Why Chip? You're killing people. No, I'm killing boys. Thought you only murdered boys. I go both ways.
Yes.
What is this?
I will finish you if I have to. Okay. You can barely finish gym class.
Nice.
Panic at the Disco. Look at that fucking soundtrack. Rewind that shit. I want to see the soundtrack.
God, this is going to be so fucking bad.
Listen to this soundtrack, dude. Hold on.
That soundtrack is pretty fucking
Panic at
dope.
the Disco, All Time Low, Dashboard Confessional, Silver Sun Pickups. This is like the fucking emo.
This is
indie
2004
shit.
personified
2000.
right here. This is gonna be fucking dope, Hootie.
All right,
Sorry.
now, talking about hypothetical questions.
I'm going to say no. I don't find it that attractive.
Look,
Hot take. That's a
you
hot
are
take.
fucking crazy.
I don't.
Get
I'm
out
sorry.
Dog. Get out of here,
sorry.
dog.
Bullshit.
She's all right. I like Kristen Bell and Natalie Portman. Just like normal-looking women. Megan Fox
Bell.
looks like fake to me.
You talking about Dax Shepard's wife?
You said Dax Shepard's wife is hot
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
fine. She does like Lowe's commercials and shit.
compared to Megan
She's
Fox.
fantastic. She's fantastic. Megan Fox is a terrible fucking human
You are
being.
fucking crazy. You know what's talking about your fucking humanitarianism or any of this shit. Like you're fucking donating your time at a cancer
For eating
hospital.
human flesh.
I'm
or anything
talking
like that.
about-
I understand. I understand. I'm being honest with you.
I think
Shut the podcast down.
I think I could convince Jennifer's Body to let me like be her minion.
Yeah, this is the Salma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn.
Selma Hayek.
Hypothetical.
Another
This is modern day
example. If
Salma
you said
Hayek.
Selma Hayek, I would have said yes.
Yeah, she's badass.
Santanico Pandemonium. Same situation here. Same situation, but she's my age, so
Christy, you didn't answer.
An hour and a half.
that's a good question. Probably. If this were me in 2009, yeah, no fucking doubt about it. So yeah, that's Jennifer's Body. How do we feel about a Rotten Tomatoes fan score on
Oh,
that bad
God,
boy.
dude. Holy shit. Give me a 52.
I'm gonna go. Oh, this movie looks so bad. 28.
I think it's a little bit better than what we're thinking.
This was written by the same lady who wrote Juno. Keep this in mind. I'm going to drop a 60 piece. Thank you for listening. Check out the website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find us on all platforms, as well as links to all the social jazz. Drop us a line, leave a review, send us kisses. I'm going to offer my support to women invited to awkward family dinners with a range of cannibalistic men. Drop them backwood fuckboys and find you a nice mate, or braid your hair, and loves vegetables.
As always, if you're listening to us, spread the love, spread the campaign, tell at least one person you know. And I guess I have to go watch this movie called Jennifer's Body and get back to my high school days with the Megan Fox years. So, should be interesting. And I'm out.
Thanks for the likes, follows, listens, shares. We appreciate your time and attention. Be sure to join us for our next episode when we take a nice, long, hated look at Jennifer's Body. We'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.